Hey Capricorn, welcome to your 2020 Sidereal Astrology reading. Alright, so this video is for Sidereal Astrology using the actual size of the constellations. This is different from all forms of mainstream astrology, so if you are new to this channel, definitely check out that link down below for more information. You do want to make sure you're watching this for your sidereal signs, which are likely different from your mainstream signs. So you want to make sure your ascendant, sun, or moon is in Sidereal Capricorn. There is a birth chart calculator down below to find that. If you are going to watch just one video, I do recommend watching it for your ascendant sign, which again you can find using that calculator. But in either case, as long as you have sun, moon, or ascendant in Capricorn, this should be valid for you. And if you do want to watch all three, that will give you a more well-rounded picture anyways. All right, so Capricorn, this year, let's take a look at the areas that'll be emphasized for you the most with the outer planets. How are they aspecting each other? And let's take a look at the eclipses as well, which can be really good indicators of a year as a whole. Now, the main area of development for you is your 12th house. This is the house that deals with finding peace in life. It rules things like spirituality. It rules our imagination, our intuition, our alone time, our unconscious minds, doing shadow work, all this stuff that essentially does lead to more peace in life, right? And surrendering and letting things go and accepting matters. So you've had your ruler Saturn here for the last 2 years, helping you really ground and build upon your life so you can have more of the spiritual peace and spiritual fulfillment. And so it's still a great year to do this, to do any work with maybe building healthy habits, some routines or hard work you can do with meditation or spiritual activities or psychological work you can do for yourself to, again, find more peace. Now, the difference between this year, though, is that Jupiter is transiting through this sector. And this is a strong contrast to Saturn by himself, because Jupiter is the complete opposite that deals with expansion. And in this case, you might be gaining some insight from your dreams. Your intuition might be heightened. You might have plenty of opportunities to get that alone time or that more peaceful time. There's still going to be maybe some limitations you're working on here with Saturn here. But again, you know, Jupiter really helps counter that balance. So all in all, just a really good development here in your spiritual sector. Now, January 10th, we have a lunar eclipse, and this is going to be in the 6th house, which is the opposite house to all of this receptive stuff, behind the scenes stuff. This is the 6th house, is the house of our day-to-day routines, our physical health, and also our work. And so in this case, it's a really good time to do a status check with your work, with your routine, with your health. How are things going here? If there's been anything new that started 6 months prior to this, there could certainly be some good heightened developments by this time of the cycle with it. But just do a status check and see how you can further develop your health, you know, your routine, your work, day-to-day activities, creating that structure, because that is what's going to help balance out, again, a lot more of that etheric energy that's kind of working out in your unconscious and in your spiritual life with the 12th. Now, January 12th, we have your ruler Saturn conjoining transformative Pluto. And so there's likely going to be some transformations collectively with our structures in life. Things as far back as the last 36 years could be going through a restructuring. But in this case for you, this is in that 12th house, which deals with those behind the scenes activities. So again, really good for development there. But in this case, I would say in January, how can you practice non-attachment to wanting spiritual peace, or non-attachment to wanting that alone time, or, you know, anything on that creative or imaginative, or even with your ideals, you know, practicing non-attachment to your dreams and ideals. All right, this is all 12th house related stuff. And what that's going to do is that's going to help you release any attachments, because when we are more non-attached to anything in life, we're more empowered and we're more willing to make changes there. So dive deep with your psyche, dive deep with your unconscious mind, face some fears here maybe with some of this deeper stuff, and you'll likely find this to be a very good way of working with the energy and a very constructive time for transformation. In fact, all Capricorns will be going through likely a strong transformation here around January, because it is your ruler over Pluto, suggesting your identity might be changing, your physical self, who you are, how you see yourself, your life. So non-attachment all around can help facilitate this transformation process. But there's definitely some new foundations being laid in the wake of this, especially for you to find, again, that acceptance and peace in life, or to cultivate your dreams and ideals. Now, February, we have a minor aspect with Jupiter sextile Neptune starting February 20th, involving that behind-the-scenes sector and your second house of resources. So if there's been any dreams or ideals you've had, maybe as far back as 2010, in regards to resources, finances, or your inner self-reliance, self-worth, your inner resources, this stuff is starting to actually clear up this year. You may start to notice that things become a little bit clearer. Maybe wait until about April, but there's a nice synergy here where you're going to probably be quite receptive and quite accepting when it comes to your resource life, your inner and outer resources. And this is going to sync up very nicely with that finding of peace sector throughout the year. So this will be all the way through October 12th with this one, and a shifting time July 27th, where things will probably shift in the right direction, involving this link between your finding peace and your inner and outer resources. Now March, we have Saturn, your ruler, dipping into Capricorn, which is a very comfortable placement with Saturn in domicile here. It's home sign. And in this case, from March through June, we get a little bit of a prelude as to what this is about, because Saturn will officially enter here in Capricorn 2021 and 2022. And so for you, this is your first house, right? So Saturn now coming out from behind the scenes. You're kind of coming out from behind the scenes and starting to embody more of this, Saturn approach is natural to you. The discipline, responsibility, patience towards anything that's involving your goals, your needs, your independence, your sense of self, your identity, building that strength of character, right? Really starting to work on things. So we get a little bit of a prelude there with that. And again, most of that will be February 2021 and onward with that one. Now April, we have that Neptune, like I was saying, wait until April in terms of that clearing up, but Neptune does leave that second house temporarily until about September and goes into your third house. So like I said, there will be some maybe less of that nebulousness with your inner and outer resources, and maybe some dreams starting to culminate there, but I would wait until February completely when Neptune officially leaves that second house, so February 2021. But where he's going, April through September, is in your practical sector. So some of you may start to find maybe you want to do some writing, maybe some solitary time, could be good for journaling or writing. Some of you learning some new spiritual things or getting into more spiritualized kind of mind. Your practical life kind of has a more receptive approach to it. You may have some dreams or ideals about maybe connecting with community or peers or your siblings. At the same time, there might be some uncertainty about some of this stuff. So most importantly, Neptune is helping you find more peace about this stuff. So having more acceptance about your practical life and information and communication matters will be good, but Neptune's in a very comfortable placement here in domicile in Pisces as well. And so I think it's going to be definitely on the more easier side, especially because the third house, it's not the easiest house for Neptune, but it's also not one of the more challenging ones. Now in April, we do have Jupiter over Pluto, and this starts April 4th. And so in this case, again, this deeper area of your chart, the 12th house, is going through this transformation. But in this case, there's likely going to be this very positive or open-minded perspective you may have about your psyche, about psychology, about creativity, imagination. Again, maybe some insights from dreams and things. And what I would say is that this is a great opportunity from April 4th through November 12th to really dive deep with your psyche and really see what you can do to reintegrate about your shadow, about the aspects of yourself that maybe in the past you've shunned away or exiled, and reintegrate. Because the 12th house, like I said, is about finding peace, and it helps us go into our unconscious, into our shadows to do this, especially when Pluto's involved. So Jupiter's expanding this, helping us see the positive side, learn some things, wisdom, in regards to finding more peace in life. And anything you want to do to empower yourself here in the sector, meditation, spiritual activities, psychology, creativity, imagination, and again, cultivating your dreams and ideals in an empowering way, really good aspect to work with in that regard. Now June, we have a solar eclipse, June 21st, and this is going to be in your 6th house of routine. So like I said, there is developments here with health, diet, routine, personal development. Something new might be starting in this sector around that time. But we do want to be flexible around that time because we're going to have a lot of retrogrades. Well, two, but they're very important. Venus will be retrograde the month and a half leading up to that, and retrograde Mercury during and the 2 weeks after that. So do be flexible around it, but still nonetheless, the second half of 2020, really good for whatever new might arise in regards to your day-to-day sector. Health, diet, routine, or your work are the common examples of the sixth. That's, again, something new you can further develop in that sector, which is, again, going to help balance out that spiritual sector, because it's only through our day-to-day activities, our routine, our physical health, that we can ground our spirituality and find more of that peace in healthy and balanced ways. Now, September, we have Neptune dipping back into Aquarius until that February time. So like I said, give until February for more of the clarity with the resources. But this could be a finalization of some dreams, some ideals you've had in regards to those inner and outer resources. So September through February, really good to, again, listen to that intuition, trust that divine process, have more acceptance about your resources, because that's been the actual lesson with Neptune, and seeing how everything does come in divine timing when you need it, resourcefully, both inner and outer wise. And so, yeah, maybe some serendipitous things, some culmination with that, maybe closer towards the end of this year and the beginning of 2021. Now, November, we have a lunar eclipse on November 30th, and this is going to be in your 5th house. So this is where things start to shift, look a little bit different, where the nodes start to change signs. And in this case, just good to do a status check with your self-expression, with your passions, whatever it is you're passionate about in life. Really good to just see it, evaluate it, see how it's going. And for the remainder of the year and going into 2021, how can you further develop your passions, or who or what's you're passionate about in life? And this is going to be a nice segue into the new year. Now, with this comes the solar eclipse on December 14th, which is in the 11th house for you, which is the area that deals with the future and our collective matters, like community and such. So there might be something new starting to emerge, maybe even karmically, maybe some things from the past, maybe some friends from the past, some ideals or future stuff you've had from the past that come up for some resolution. And so just sit around December 14th, see what arises, but simply having more acceptance and just seeing what arises can help release, because there's some karmic things, not bad, karma doesn't mean bad, just things from the past coming up for resolution, that as we allow for that, it can be a new beginning emerging from here, maybe new community, maybe new ideals, maybe something involving tech or innovative things, or your hopes and wishes for the future. Basically where you can channel this self-expression and those passions into from the lunar eclipse prior to that in November. All right, and the last thing here is on December 21st, we do have Jupiter over your ruler Saturn. So they've been in the same constellation of Sagittarius, and now they're going to be conjoining here at the very end of the year in that 12th house of spiritual development. So like I said, very constructive year for this. It closes off the year in terms of maybe some final developments with more peace in your life, with more acceptance, with maybe spirituality, maybe with your dreams or ideals, right? And Saturn leaving here also means a finalization and completion with this stuff. And maybe even some things in your work or career that have been requiring a more receptive approach also start to finalize. And like I said, once you get into next year, these planets come out of your 12th, go into your 1st, and especially with your ruler, you know, as a person collectively for all Capricorns, come out from behind the scenes and into a more active scene of cultivating your needs, your desires, your independence, your assertive initiative side moving forward. All right, so Capricorn, have a fantastic 2020. Now, this video does come with a 20% discount on personal readings, so if you do want a detailed look at your personal chart, do check that out. It's applicable both for the Skype session and the MP3 recorded readings that I offer on the website. So again, thank you, Capricorn. Hope you all have a fantastic 2020, and I'll see you all in the next daily video. Take care.